The Denver Broncos did not take care of business last night against the Chargers. However, they can still clinch a playoff berth this week. But before we talk about that, guys, I want to thank the affiliate partner for today's video, Green Gridiron Helmets. Use code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description below to save off your first purchase on authentic NFL helmets, from small replicas like this one to full-size helmets. Again, that is code DENSYN to save off your first purchase from Green Gridiron Helmets. Thank you so much to them, and now back to your regularly scheduled content. Although the Denver Broncos took a loss to the Chargers, and that does hurt their chances at advancing their playoff seeding, they have a chance to lock up their playoff spot before they even play their next game against Cincinnati. The simplest way that the Denver Broncos can clinch a playoff berth is by winning one of their next two games against Cincinnati or against Kansas City. Cincinnati is going to be tough, and then Kansas City may or may not have the 1 seed locked up by then, and they may or may not be playing their starters in that game. We don't know. If the Broncos can win one of those next two games, they are golden. There are scenarios, though, where the Broncos can already have their playoff spot locked up before they even play their next game against Cincinnati. Let's go ahead and bring in the New York Times playoff simulator. According to their math, the Broncos currently sit at an 80% chance to make the playoffs. NFL.com has them at about an 85% chance. The NFL has been a little bit more generous with their math than the New York Times. Again, it's very simple. If Denver wins, they're in. Simple. However, this scenario can play out this week. It's not probable, but it is possible. If the Cleveland Browns, led by Dorian Thompson-Robinson, somehow, some way find a way to beat the Cincinnati Bengals on the road, the Broncos' playoff chances will soar up all the way to 93%. The Bengals are the biggest threat to the Broncos right now. Let's say that the 49ers are able to beat the Miami Dolphins. That one, it's not probable, but it's definitely possible. If those happen, your playoff chances shoot up to 99%. Let's go another one that's not probable but definitely possible. If the Tennessee Titans beat the Indianapolis Colts, then the Denver Broncos officially clinch a playoff berth. If the Colts, the Bengals, and the Dolphins lose at least one game each the remainder of the way, the Denver Broncos clinch a playoff berth without having to do anything. There are three-way tie scenarios where the Indianapolis Colts can get in over the Broncos. There are also three-way tie scenarios where the Dolphins can get in over the Broncos. I know some fans are wondering why the Colts, because Denver beat them head-to-head. It's because in three-way ties, division tiebreakers are broken first. In this scenario, Denver would be third in the division. They lost to the Chargers. They would be third in the division in this scenario. Indianapolis would be second in their division, meaning that they would win the tiebreaker over Denver despite them winning, or despite Indianapolis losing head-to-head to Denver. That's how those tiebreakers work in three-way ties. The head-to-head tiebreaker does not come into play until later on. That was explained in a tweet by Andrew Mason of 1043 The Fan. If you guys want to see that in more detail, I highly encourage you to go over to Mason's Twitter and take a look at that. That is going to be the scenario that the Denver Broncos stare down if they are unable to win at least one of these games, and Miami, Indianapolis, they all go undefeated the rest of the way. So if the Denver Broncos see the Bengals somehow lose to the Browns, you see somehow, some way, the Titans end up beating the Colts, and then you see the Dolphins end up losing to the 49ers, the Broncos can clinch a playoff berth this week. It's not likely, it's not probable, but it definitely is possible, and it's a scenario that was at least worth going over. That's basically your rooting guide this week if you are Broncos country. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 5,300 subscribers. And before we get out of here guys, I want to tell you about the other affiliate partner for today's video, Whitebeard Signworks. Use code BS30, link also in the description below, to save $30 off your first purchase on NFL LED team logo signs, just like this really cool sign behind me. Thank you so much to both Whitebeard Signworks and Green Gridiron Helmets. And until next time guys, I am your host Gage Madrid, saying peace out.